Welcome to the deep dive. We distill it down into the crucial, actionable knowledge you really need.
Right.
And today, we're navigating the modern dating landscape.
Yeah.
We're focusing specifically on those first few dates, maybe the first three, when all those signals start flashing.
It's such a vital deep dive because the methods, they've gotten so complicated, apps, texting, all of it. But the core human need for consistency and, well, respect hasn't changed at all.
Not at all.
And our sources are really clear on this. People are usually on their best behavior on date 1, but by date 3, that's when the mask can start to slip.
Yeah, the patterns become visible. So our mission today is pretty surgical. We want to give you, the listener, a kind of shortcut to identifying foundational emotional health versus, deep-seated trouble.
To save you the time.
The time, the emotional labor, and maybe the heartbreak of investing in something that was, well, doomed from the start.
We're really looking for patterns. Patterns of integrity, of maturity, of respect, and on the flip side, signs of ambivalence, entitlement, a lack of accountability. Those are the things unstable relationships are built on.
Okay, let's unpack this. We went through insights from dating coaches, therapists, and a lot of real-world stories that identified about 10 foundational red flags. Let's start right at the surface with the easiest ones to spot.
Okay.
The failure of just basic reliability and attention.
The basics.
First one, and it's often the earliest predictor, is all about follow-through. It's that words and actions do not match problem.
Right.
So if someone says, I'll call you Friday, and then you hear nothing. It's crickets until Monday, and they text like, those 3 days of silence just never happen. It's a huge lapse.
It is, because reliability is, it's the bedrock of trust. If they're showing you they're flaky right at the start, they are literally demonstrating their capacity for honoring commitments.
Any commitment, even a small one.
Exactly. And look, it's not about perfection, it's about acknowledging it. If they missed the call but texted, hey, sorry, Friday got away from me, can I call you Saturday morning? That's different. That's accountability.
But just ignoring it.
Ignoring it is the red flag.
And then when you're actually out with them, you have the classic flag of distraction. Our sources pointed to things like, no eye contact, constantly glancing at their phone.
The phone. Always the phone.
Checking the time, or asking you to repeat questions you literally just answered.
That kind of behavior, the cell phone thing especially, it's disrespect. It's pure and simple. It's telling you that whatever's happening on that screen is more important than you are.
Yeah, low investment.
And a core lack of respect, really.
Which connects right into poor listening skills. Sure, nerves can make someone chatty on date 1. We get that.
Of course.
But if by date 2 or 3, they're still interrupting, still changing the subject back to themselves, or just waiting for their turn to speak, that tells you something crucial.
It signals self-centeredness. Totally.
Yeah.
They're not getting to know you. They're interviewing you to see if you fit a role in their life. They might know surface facts about you, but they haven't stopped talking long enough to actually ask about your values or what makes you tick.
One of the coaches in our sources had this fantastic, really direct strategy for this. It's a great litmus test.
Oh, I like this.
When they finally take a breath, you can just graciously but firmly say, wow, I feel like I know so much about you. So what would you like to know about me? Fire away.
Oh, that is good, because their reaction tells you everything.
Exactly. If they struggle to pivot or just turn it right back to themselves, you have your answer.
That really reveals if they're capable of sharing the space.
Yeah.
Now, what about the communication outside of the dates? The infamous hot and cold cycle.
The dreaded push-pull. 1 minute, it's a flurry of texts. They're warm, engaged.
Making plans.
And the next, poof, they vanish for 36 hours. No explanation.
And this is a major insight from the sources, that instability is not some romantic puzzle you need to solve. It often reflects their own ambivalence, maybe intimacy issues.
Or they're just dating a bunch of other people.
Or that. But the key thing for you, for the listener, is the impact it has on you.
Right. So how does that affect you?
It just sends your nervous system into hypervigilance. You're not calm and grounded. You're anxiously checking your phone. You're overanalyzing everything. And this erratic pattern, when they do come back, it gives you this little dopamine hit.
So you get addicted to the chase.
You get addicted to the instability. Healthy relationships just don't require that kind of frantic effort.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You're basically rewarded for stress. Yeah. Now, the sources also flag the opposite extreme. Constant, excessive texting.
Yes, the pendulum swings both ways. Constant communication, texts every few hours, long, rambling messages that can signal intense neediness.
Like that story about Lara, the 62-year-old ER doctor.
Yes, that was a perfect example.
She liked the guy, Chris, but he was just texting her relentlessly. So she politely asked him to dial it back a bit, and his instant reply was, "I miss you."
And that was it. That was the red flag. It's this emotional bid for intimacy that just hasn't been earned yet.
Right?
That kind of instant attachment shows they're looking for you to fill void, not join an already full life. And that neediness, it often
Look,
escalates.
let's shift gears a little bit. We're moving past communication style into, well, core character warning signs,
Ah,
the deeper flags that predict future conflict.
okay.
We have to talk about negativity.
This is so critical. The actual content of the conversation matters so much, especially early on. And there are some really inappropriate topics for the first few dates.
Like venting about exes.
Venting about exes, detailing messy financial disputes, complaining bitterly about their job.
One source called it emotional garbage dumping.
That's exactly what it is. They're unloading all this bitterness and drama onto a practical stranger, expecting you to just absorb it.
And if they're introducing you to their life through their resentments,
That's their default setting. Imagine what those conversations will be like a year from now. And this negativity, it often bleeds into how they talk about money, too.
which is a dual problem, right?
Yeah.
On one hand, you've got the bragging.
Exactly. Going on and on about their wealth, their toys, all their five-star vacations.
Mm-hmm.
It often just signals deep insecurity. They're trying to prove their worth.
And the flip side.
Is the constant complaining about money. My ex took everything.
Yeah.
It's inappropriate. They're either seeking pity or maybe even setting you up to feel like you need to solve their problems.
Okay, so now for maybe the biggest one. The one that predicts future conflict most accurately. The blame game.
Oh, the crazy ex narrative.
Yes.
This one is foundational. If every single story they tell about past relationships, jobs, friends ends with someone else being the problem.
The boss was an idiot. Their parents never understood them.
And all their exes were terrible people.
Yeah.
It signals a catastrophic lack of personal accountability.
So what does that tell you about your future with them?
It's a perfect prediction of how they'll handle conflict with you. They see conflict as a zero-sum game where they are always the victim. They can't take responsibility for their past failures, so when things get tough with you, they'll just turn that blame on you.
You just become the next person on the list.
You become the next crazy ex. It's a chilling insight.
And this lack of character, it's often measured by how they treat people who can't do anything for them. Disrespect toward others.
This is a golden rule,
Yeah?
a critical measure of character. How do they interact with the waiter, the barista, the cab driver? It's so revealing.
If they're dismissive or impatient or just rude.
It's a sign of profound entitlement.
But to play devil's advocate, what if they were just having a really terrible day, an isolated incident?
You know, everyone has bad days, but our sources really suggest that basic human respect, even under stress, should be a non-negotiable. That rudeness is them showing you their baseline behavior when they don't feel the need to impress anyone. A person who lacks that basic respect for others will, eventually, turn that disrespect on you. Remember that anecdote about the woman who ended the date immediately?
When the guy was rude to the waiter on a first coffee date,
She saw all she needed to see.
you're watching how they move through the world. Okay, let's move on to boundaries and rushing because they often go hand in hand.
Yes, rushing the relationship is a massive red flag. And this can be physical, like touching your arm, your shoulder, your waist, without any established comfort level.
A respectful person asks,
They ask either with words or by reading your body language. They don't just invade your personal space.
and what about rushing the emotional timeline?
That's the other side of it. Pressuring for commitment, demanding to know where this is going by date 2, or pushing for exclusivity when you've said you're not ready.
So they're just prioritizing their own timeline.
Completely. They're prioritizing their need to secure a partner over respecting your pace. It shows they won't honor your limits later on either.
And this can even involve the date setting itself. The pushiness about having the first date at your house or their house.
Or only suggesting late-night drinks instead of a neutral, safe coffee meeting. They're trying to rush things physically to skip the vetting process.
We should also mention the non-behavioral red flags. The
Yeah.
ones that are about deception or just low effort.
Like catfishing. That's the obvious one. They show up and clearly don't look like their profile pictures. Maybe they used a photo from 10 years ago.
It's deceit from the jump.
And it's rooted in insecurity. And then there's just basic sloppiness, showing up unshowered, wrinkled clothes like they put in zero effort.
It's disrespectful. It's saying, my time is valuable, but yours isn't worth me taking a shower.
Exactly.
Okay, we've focused a lot on the red flags, but the mission here is to find a healthy connection. So we need to flip the script. Let's talk about the green flags.
Yes, the traits that actually build healthy, sustainable love. And if inconsistency is a red flag, the strongest green flag is simply consistency.
Reliability.
Reliability and clear communication. It creates a sense of calm. When they say they'll call, they call. Words and actions just align. And you feel like you can put your phone down and relax.
Hypervigilance is unnecessary.
Exactly. That feeling of calm is the real indicator. If a relationship makes you feel frantic, something's wrong.
So what's the green flag opposite of the self-centered talker?
Genuine curiosity. A green flag partner actually wants to know who you are, not just your resume. They ask good follow-up questions about your feelings, your motivations.
And they remember things.
They remember the small details you mentioned before. That shows they were actually listening. It's a hallmark of emotional maturity.
And the antidote to the blame game has to be personal accountability.
Absolutely. Emotionally mature people can say, I was wrong, or, you know what, I handled that poorly. They take ownership without spiraling into shame or getting defensive.
That signals that conflict with them will be productive, not destructive,
Right. They don't need to win or lose. They just want to understand.
which ties right into empathy.
Exactly. Understanding your perspective isn't the same as agreeing with it. And a healthy partner gets that distinction.
Okay, so since we talked about boundary pushers, the green flag is pretty obvious.
Respect for boundaries and pacing. If you set a limit, you prefer public dates, you're not ready for intimacy, they honor it immediately. No complaints, no guilt tripping.
You see your boundaries as essential information.
Not as obstacles,
And-
exactly.
And finally, a couple of markers of a self-sufficient person who's ready for a real partnership, not a rescue mission.
First, an independent life. They have their own friends, their own interests, their own passions that existed before you. They want to complement your life, not complete them.
They bring stability, not anxiety. And the second one,
Celebrating your success.
yeah.
When you share good news, a promotion, whatever it is, they are genuinely happy for you. They're your biggest cheerleader. They aren't threatened. That supportive spirit is just. It's essential.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, navigating all this?
Yeah.
It means you have to apply this awareness and really focus on self-reflection after every single interaction.
Right. We've given you the list, but the real power is in your intuition. Your body, your nervous system, it often knows the truth before your brain catches up. And we're so often conditioned to ignore that gut feeling. Don't.
We call this your green flag radar check-in. And you need to ask yourself a few questions after every date.
The first one is, do you feel energized or drained after being with them? If you feel tense or exhausted, that's your nervous system flagging instability. It should feel light, not heavy.
Next, do you feel like you can be your authentic self? Or are you performing? Are you walking on eggshells? Or do you feel truly seen?
And finally, does this relationship make your life easier, richer, or more complicated and confusing? Healthy love should feel calm and nourishing. If you're constantly analyzing and justifying, it's a complication you just don't need.
The goal here isn't to be hypervigilant, to criticize every human flaw. It's to honor your standards and recognize unhealthy patterns so you can move on efficiently.
You deserve someone whose actions match their words. You deserve kindness and respect. Focus on the steady connection, the genuine curiosity, and the partner who shows up with accountability.
And while we focused on what breaks a connection, consider this one last provocative thought. We flagged evasiveness about basic facts, job, family, as a red flag for secrecy. But what happens when a person is too open? When they engage in that intense trauma dumping on a first date, why might that immediate unearned vulnerability actually signal a boundary issue, a kind of forced intimacy, rather than true emotional health? It's something for you to consider as you reflect on the difference between secure sharing and skipping the essential steps to build real trust.